All right, we have two limited time series that just unlocked together. So they're both going to be running through the 29th of April, which is Monday. So that is going by the Australian standard, I think. So if you're like me, living in the Western Hemisphere, a few hours behind, then most likely it'll end up on the 28th, the Sunday. The series will expire. So if you are planning on winning this car or the other one, which is the Honda S2000 GT, then plan your schedule accordingly, right? So anyway, for this video, let's run through the series overview of this Acura ARX-05, which is of course the third of the three IMSA prototypes in the current version. So this is the expensive car, of course, and from what I understand, it's gonna cost, I mean, the PRs are all exactly the same as the other two that we've run so far already, the Mazda and Cadillac. So this is gonna be the grippier one of the three, and just like the other two, by completing the limited time series, we get to win the car plus 130 gold and 100,000 racing dollars, which is really, I don't even know why they even put it there. Okay, so let's hop in and confirm what their website, what they have published on their site, which is the PR requirement of 90.6, just like the other two cars. And so I don't expect this is going to be any different for any reason, right? So yeah, ARX-05 DPi by 100% completing this series. Triumph and return in 2017, continues to prove its worth on the track. Cool. All right, so here's the price breakdown and broken into 25% completion increment. So it's going to be another one of those series where if you're trying to win any gold, you might as well go all the way, which means it's going to cost you, I'm anticipating, 495 gold. How do I know that? I don't, other than the fact that the other two that we've run through already costed that much. So hey, don't take my word for it. Let's check in and find out, shall we? So we'll use the gold to complete the series right away. 130 gold we get back. So, you know, technically the net cost of the series purely in terms of gold is what, 365, you know, 495 minus 130 that we get back. So yes, expensive, I know. But if this drives anything like the Mazda or the Caddy was for me a little trickier to handle, a little slippery around the corners. But you know, perhaps it's the testament to its raw power, right? Anyway, the base PR, as you can see, or as you saw, was 78.4, and here we are, final tier 15. It's gonna be 4-lap cup race at Suzuka, it was West, right? Suzuka West. And let's check out what actual PR requirement is. Is it 90.6? It sure is, which means I'm assuming that 3 upgrades across the board should get us there, just like the other two. So let's check this out. First tier should be all racing dollar upgrade with 12-hour R&D time, and by the time we're done with those upgrades, our PR should be up to 82.5. So let's just run through real quick here. All right, body, suspension, exhaust, brakes, And finally, tires and wheels. And yep, 82.5, right on the money. And second tier should be all gold. 85 for engine, 80 for drivetrain, 65 for body, 75 for suspension, 70 for exhaust, 55 for brakes, and finally 65 for tires and wheels. So is it gonna be the same? Looking that way, right? And at the end of this second tier upgrades, the PR should be up to 86.5. And what did I say? 80 gold for drivetrain, right? And 65 for body. And suspension is 75. Exhaust is gonna be 70. And 55 for brakes. And then 65 for the tires and wheels, which does bring RPR up to 86.5. And then of course third tier is gonna be all racing dollar upgrades with 1 day delivery or R&D time, and that should land us right at 90.6. So let's confirm. So far looking pretty good. 89.6 and 90 point even and 90.6. There we go. So yep, so identical upgrade path with the identical cost, and car that is nearly identical. They're same class cars, right, as the other two IMSA DPi, the prototypes. So there you have it, upgrades. And if you want to stick around, let's run through the series overview, right? So tier 1, we got endurance at Spa. For first race, if it's normal, it should be what? Normally they have you run above like 4 or 5 kilometers for the first race, I think. And then head-to-heads have always been single lapper, so I don't expect any deviation there. It is Grand Prix circuit, so not exactly the shortest circuit there. And then Hockenheim National. Oh, now that's a short one. Single lap national circuit race. And of course for tier 1, we don't have any PR requirement. Alright, and then tier 2, we got Hunter at Catalunya National. So that's another single lap there in the national circuit. And speed record at Mount Panorama. Considering it's in tier 2, and your car should be still in good working condition, meaning not in red but in green. But if you happen to use up more service bars than you wanted to in the first tier for some reason, and you're pretty close to getting into critical service condition, then you might take the speed record first, because that speed record at Mount Panorama can be a bit of a challenge, especially, you know, if your car is in critical condition, even when it's so early on in the series. It's only tier 2, but yeah, just something to keep in mind. Of course, once you have your first tier upgrades done and your car serviced, then that should not pose any problem there. And then we got the Porsche Test Track Cup race on short road circuit, 2 laps with the PR requirement of 80.7. So once again, just need to have some racing dollar upgrades by then. So might watch a few ads to cut down on that 12-hour R&D time for those first tier upgrades if you are in a rush. Then moving on to tier 3, we got elimination at Monza road course. It's elimination, so you gotta run for how long? 2 minutes 20 seconds, is that right? Because there are 8 opponents, so it's like 140 seconds, right? So eliminating 7 opponents, right? So that's that. So that's elimination is another one of those races. The venue is somewhat irrelevant, and of course, you know, if you've been following my channel, certain venues are easier for me to play blockade, usually a bit narrower circuit or circuits with some narrow choke points where I can park my car sideways and just block the way. And reason for that, of course, is always to save on your wear and tear on your service bar, so you can run more series deeper into the series without having to service your car. So that's my reason for it, and the fact that it's kind of goofy way of playing. There are racers that show you how to do it properly, and then, you know, there's me. So hey, it's a video game, you're supposed to enjoy it, right? Okay, so a speed snap we got at Red Bull Ring Grand Prix circuit. So I'm gonna say for tier 3 that shouldn't be too difficult. Alright, and then we got a cup race at Daytona Road Course. Most likely gonna be a rolling start single lapper with the PR requirement of 81.8. Alright, moving on. Tier 4 autocross at Le Mans, drag race at Suzuka East, which is interesting. Is that different from Suzuka Grand Prix? I don't know. It's taking place in that main drag anyway, so and it's a drag race. So look at that. That's a Mustang GT that just drove by me here. That American muscle car sound, right? The Mustang sound. It's very different from Camaros. Anyway, I digress. Back to the limited time series here. We got drag race. The venue, I think, is pretty irrelevant. Anyway, to claim that 25% completion reward, you're gonna have to complete this Dubai Oval Circuit Cup 5 laps, possibly the shortest circuit in the entirety of the game, with the PR requirement just north of what you can do with racing dollars alone, because remember, racing dollar upgrades alone got your PR up to 82.5. So yeah, they put this just beyond the reach of racing dollars very intentionally, I think. So anyway, which is kind of stinky, you know, what are you gonna do? But so 82.7, you're gonna need some gold upgrades, at least one, and no gold upgrade is less than 15 gold for this car. So yes, it's yeah, you know what I say, you're in it to win it. Alright, tier 5, we got Hunter at Brands Hatch, speed record at Melbourne, which usually you can do even when your car is in critical condition. And then the cup is going to be at Club Circuit of Circuit of the Americas, 4 laps with the PR requirement of 83.5. Alright, moving on to tier 6, head to head at Laguna Seca. Alright, should be a single lapper, so medium length track. Endurance at Indianapolis Motor Speedway Road Course. So endurance, you know, track once again is somewhat irrelevant. And then the cup is going to be at Catalunya Grand Prix, 2 laps. All right, so there's going to be a little bit lengthier race in this limited time series. PR requirement of 84.2. All right, so second tier upgrades, basically gold upgrades before your third tier racing dollar upgrades kick in. You should be able to complete tier 9 and maybe a couple in tier 10. I think tier 10 is where the PR requirement goes above 86.5. We'll confirm when we get there. But for now, tier 7, we got elimination at Hockenheim Short. You know what I said about elimination. So Hockenheim Short might be a good track to play blockade if you're bored. Or if you're trying to once again conserve your service bars. But I don't see any reason why you would be running Well, if I can make it this far without servicing the car, I probably would just run through it normal. Anyway, we got autocross at New York circuit. This can be for an autocross. That can be a little tricky. Maybe it's the track. New York circuit can be any Formula E tracks. I think a lot of players struggle. Lots of hairpins and sharp corners, right? Very narrow, so very unforgiving, I think. But anyway, that's pretty typical of city circuits, though. All right, moving on. We got a Cup at Silverstone Grand Prix to wrap up Tier 7, and PR requirement is 85 even. So, you will get to claim the 50% completion by winning 2 gold trophies in Tier 8, as always, but you would have spent way more gold to get here anyway. So, that is that. Tier 8, we got Speed Snap at Daytona Motorcycle Course. And where does that take place? I want to say that does take place on the outer rim. I don't think it's in the interior section. I think for interior section, I think that's the road course, but I might be wrong on that one. Anyway, Hunter at Catalunya Club Circuit. That's another very short track. And then the Cup is going to be at Long Road Circuit this time, a Porsche test track, 2 laps with a PR requirement of 85.6. All right, moving on. Tier 9, we got head-to-head at Suzuka Grand Prix, single lap, elimination at Dubai International, and the Cup is at Hockenheim Grand Prix, 2 laps with the PR requirement of 86.3. All right, checking into Tier 10. So, yeah, Tier 9, right? PR requirement was 86.3, so it's just under the 86.5, obviously, which is where you would be with those gold upgrades done, the 14 out of 28 upgrades available. So Tier 10 is where you're going to have those 3rd tier upgrades, at least some of them done. Now we got endurance at junior course of Monza and autocross at Mount Panorama, which is that hill climb, and the Cup is at Circuit of the Americas Grand Prix, probably double lap. Yep, double lapper with the PR requirement north of 86.5 at 87 even. So, yep. All right, Tier 11, we got a 2nd drag race, right, of the event at Indianapolis Road Course. All right, so that's the venue. And we got a speed record at National Circuit of Red Bull Ring, and the Cup is going to be at Nürburgring Mühlenbachschleife, 7-lapper with the PR requirement of 87.7. Moving on, Tier 12, elimination at Circuit des 24 Heures. So that's Le Mans. And Speed Snap is at Hong Kong. And Cup is at Silverstone National. 5 laps with the PR requirement of 88.4. All right. And at this point, you're getting pretty close to the near. You have collected 75% completion reward and all. So from here on out, just the final dash for that extra 50 gold plus the car that we're running to win, right? So autocross at Melbourne, Hunter at New York, and another Cup at Circuit of the Americas, this time National Circuit, 4 laps with the PR requirement of 89.1. All right, Tier 14, head-to-head at Daytona Road Course, rolling start, single lapper, eliminations at Nürburgring Sprint Circuit, and the Cup is at Spa, double lapper with the PR requirement of 89.8. All right, so, and of course we got the final tier, Tier 15. We got Speed Snap at Dubai Grand Prix. think it's the international that is tricky if your car is unserviced. I don't think Grand Prix is a tricky one, but we'll find out. Well, once I get to run through the series, so we'll worry about that later. That's in the final tier. And Autocross at Silverstone Bridge Grand Prix, and the cup is of course the Suzuka West 4-lapper. So the final race I feel like is relatively short compared to some other longer races that we come across throughout the series. And once again, PR requirement is 90.6, and the way to get there is 3 upgrades across the board, as I said at the beginning of the video, with the cost of 495 gold once again. So there is that. So good luck with your quest here, running through, if you're running through to win this car. And we'll see you on the track. So, and yeah, so take care.